Hello and welcome to another Trekmate review. My name's Jude Hawkins and I'm here as ever with my good friend and co-host Wayne Emery. And this week we are going to be reviewing a Voyager episode for the second time. We are going to be doing Meld, which is season 2, episode 16, and was first aired on the 5th of February 1996. I chose this week's episode, and part of the reason I chose this one is because we've only done one before on Trekmate Review, which was fucking awful.
And during that episode, you did, because it was Threshold, and you did turn around and say, you should have picked the episode after, because it's a good one.
That's it. And like a song that you can't get out of your head, like I think the best way to get a song out of your head is have a good sing-song, sing it, listen to it. Mm-hmm. So when this week it was my turn to choose the Voyager episode, I said, let's do that one. Let's get it out of our system.
Mm-hmm.
And because of what I said last time, I remembered I've only ever done one proper watch through of Voyager, to be honest, and this was one of the ones what stood out for me as like that was a really enjoyable episode. I know I always do these reviews back to front. I shouldn't say what I think at the beginning, but I can't help it.
It tends to be a theme with the Trentmate reviews. We pretty much tell you whether we like it or not straight up front, so you could get away
like
with
1
just
minute in. Oh, he likes
seconds.
it. Yeah, okay. Next one. Yep, that was crap. Yeah, okay. Next video.
If you want to do a quick binge, you can get away with like the first minute 30 seconds.
Well, we're here to help.
That's it.
And I'm going to start off by helping people even more. And I don't think you'll mind this. We sort of did this on a DS9 episode review a while back. We've got a B story in this episode, and I'm just going to sum it up with 2 notes that I made. Like the first one is the episode starts with Harry and Tom in the holodeck in the bar that Tom's created, and they've been doing bets on
Sandrines
on pool games at first, isn't it?
Yes, it was.
And then they decide to do bets on what is it, Wayne?
Oh, I don't fucking know.
It's the time or
mindless pap.
Yeah, but basically, much later on in my notes, and I'm just going to do it now, and then we won't mention it again. I've just written, Chakotay comes in the holodeck simulation, shuts down the B story for being too crap. Which really is true. That really happens. He doesn't use those words, but he may as well.
You've got it in a nutshell, because I can't remember what they were taking bets on. But yeah, no, it was pretty much yeah, he shouldn't be doing betting. Yeah. Oh well.
It did feel a bit like Monty Python to me, that scene. Like Chakotay just coming in and goes, I'm sorry, this is far too crap. Time to end this B story.
I had never thought of it that way. Yes.
And it really does. It really does end with that. It doesn't go anywhere.
The B story is pointless. Absolutely pointless.
So now that's out of the way, let's get on with the good stuff of the episode. And it is a good one.
Yeah, it is, because it starts out with B'Elanna in engineering. Something's not quite right. Mm-hmm. And then she finds body.
Oh, no. It does start with Torres and stuff's going on.
Go on then, you start, I'll cut that out.
Yeah. No, it's okay, you can leave that in.
No, go for it.
Yes, basically, we do see Torres at the beginning, but the drama with that doesn't happen yet. The first real thing we see is Neelix in the mess hall with Tuvok even, and Neelix is doing his usual thing of annoying Tuvok.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I've written down Neelix's line, I will not let you rest until I see you smile. Tuvok says, then you will not rest.
Yeah, but also I love the fact that because it was basically a Vulcan celebration coming up in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
Neelix was trying to build up the mood, saying like happy whatever it was to him, and he's saying like I've done some research. Yeah, Calrec. That's right. And I've been doing some research, and I think half of the crew should be naked with oil all over them.
Yeah, that's what I've got too. Neelix suggests getting greased up and naked and running around after each other.
And to be honest, and that's the thing. Tuvok, so like that's the ancient way
Yeah,
of celebrating this thing, and he's like, I don't see why we can't bring it back.
yeah,
So all in all, Neelix wants an orgy,
yeah.
and he feels that it would be good for crew morale.
Fucking morale officer. I don't know.
Well, to be honest, I think that's a perfectly fair way of building crew morale.
As much as Neelix does annoy me in general, like, yeah, you're not wrong. He's not wrong. It would be good. Bring in a lot of ratings for the show as well, wouldn't it?
And that's the thing. They reckon it's going to take him 70 years to go home. So
yeah,
you need to replenish the crew at the rate that they die.
Yeah. Yeah.
As this episode shows.
Oh yeah, of course. Which is leads into the next scene, which is Torres calls Tuvok on his thing and says, "We have a dead body."
Well, no, she doesn't even say that. She just says, "You need to get
come
down
see
here."
me. Yeah. And it's Darwin, crewman Darwin.
Yes. Yeah.
And as far as we can tell, at first he's just been burnt up in the bloody blah.
Yeah, whatever it was. Technobabble.
Yeah.
Insert technobabble here.
I actually write that in my notes all the time. Technobabble, because you just can't be bothered to remember or write this stuff down, can you?
No.
But the doctor says he was murdered by a blow to the head, not the fire.
Not via the radiation.
Sorry, yeah. So Tuvok gets a couple of the crew together, including Chakotay, who says he doesn't like Suder. Because he liked killing Cardassians too much.
Yeah, basically, they turned around and said that there was only one other crew member that was in engineering with him, and it was Lon Suder. And Chakotay did turn around and say, looks as if like, oh shit, the chickens have come home to roost.
Because yes, Suder was one of his guys.
Yeah, he was a Marquis officer, and he was somebody that he said that Suder never done anything wrong. But he seemed to take too much enjoyment in performing Marquis duties.
He says killing Cardassians, but
yeah,
it will only have been Cardassians that they were killing.
It would have been,
yeah.
It would have been, but that's the thing. He just had an excuse because it fitted the bill.
Yeah.
Just as one quick side point, out of curiosity, the Jeffries tube type thing that the body was found in, there's a component right there. Is it just me, or did they reuse a prop from that episode in season 1 where they went behind Janeway's back and got that thing to plug onto the warp drive to help make them go faster? That big cylindrical thing with two pipes coming out of the top and the bottom.
I don't know, mate. I can go back and have a look, but at this point...
It looks so similar.
You're probably right. I mean, that's totally Star Trek, isn't it, to do that?
Yeah.
To reuse stuff. After Tuvok gets together with I think it's Chakotay, Janeway, and Torres, isn't it? It's just those four.
Yes.
They all think, go for Suder, interview him first. So he does his initial interview, and I've not written anything down other than good scene, which I've not written down what they say, but it is a good scene. It's
it's basically him questioning Suder about his whereabouts as to whether he had any motive for killing the other crew member, and he's like, I've got no motive.
He's very I can't think of the word, not snidey, but he knows what he's done, but he knows at that point that they don't have any evidence against him, And
Yeah.
Tuvok even says, I think, "Do you have a criminal record?" And he's like, "If I did, do you think I'd tell you?"
But also, um, if I lie about it, how are you going to check up?
Yeah, yeah, that's what I mean. Oh, can I just say, because I didn't say, I should have said right at the beginning of the episode.
Hmm.
I've said it on the previous Voyager. The actor who plays Suder
Hmm.
is Brad Dourif, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Who some people may know as the voice of Chucky from Child's Play. He's plays a good role in Lord of the Rings as well.
Hmm.
Is it Snake Tongue or something like that?
Yeah.
He's in plenty of stuff. He's in Deadwood. But I really like this actor. I think he's one of the good ones.
He is, and
I only wish he was in the show more. I think he's in one more episode of Voyager, if memory serves.
it's
But
the season finale,
yeah, and he sort of
and then he's
sacrifices himself, I think, doesn't he?
yeah he's in the season finale for like a couple of moments, but then he's in part two of Basics a lot more,
Yeah,
because that's where him and the Doctor team up to get rid of Seska and the Kazon.
yeah. I would have loved to have seen more of this character.
Hmm.
I don't know if it was to do with money or they just.
I don't know. I don't know. Well, it probably just. Well, you got to think, right?
I'm too much of a DS9 fan.
The thing is,
Aren't I?
DS9 was the only series where secondary cast were treated as well almost as like the main cast.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Story wise.
I've watched that too much, haven't I? I always expect too much from Voyager.
Yeah, so where Voyager is very much of the TNG sort of philosophy of being able to like encase everything in a bottle episode so that you don't need to watch what's before or after.
Yeah,
And yeah, and because the thing is with Voyager, the background cast should have been a lot more prominent because it being such a small ship. Surely there would have been far more interactions with like lesser known crew members
yeah.
because you've only got a couple of hundred people on the ship.
It's the perfect opportunity, isn't it, to do that? It's just a shame.
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't think they even bothered to keep the same extras like all the way through. Which
Yeah, I think I've read a lot of stuff about that online. But if you do the actual maths, it doesn't add up with the amount of crewmen they have, and then the amount of crewmen that die, the amount of crewmen you see on screen, but then they're different ones in another episode.
yeah,
It doesn't match up. But not everyone's going to
that's it.
notice that, are they?
No, it isn't. Um. So yeah, where was we?
Basically, moving on from where we were, the interview with Tuvok and Suder, the Doctor finds out that Suder's
Basically DNA of different.
yeah, he is at the scene, so implicates him even more. And then so we have the second interview with Tuvok and Suder, and he says, Suder, I mean, there's no point in denying it anymore.
And Suda just like is taken aback for just a bit, like sits there and thinks, and then just goes, "Well, no point lying.
Yeah,
Yeah, I killed him." And it's not as if he's for a betazoid, he's not overly emotional.
no,
He's
no, it touches on that a lot more later on. But no, he's not.
And that's the thing. He's very clinical about his description of it as well. It's not as if it doesn't seem like he it doesn't seem, even though he got his rocks off to it.
Yeah.
It's not like he's not your average psychopath.
No, he's not. I mean, well, I'll cut to the further scenes.
We can jump wherever you want to.
Well, I'll jump forward and then I'll jump back again. He basically explains how he does it to feel. Like he can't feel for some reason. He finds it hard to feel. He, like you said, he's not your average beta Z. He does it to feel, if that makes sense. To feel something.
Yeah, that's the thing. Almost like a state of maybe how you might feel when you're depressed. You feel numb, and everything. So some people do shit to get that rush.
Yeah, silly
And
things.
his silly thing is knocking people's brains in.
Yeah. He goes on to tell Tuvok what the murder weapon was, where it is, and that he admits that he tried to burn the body unsuccessfully because something had gone wrong.
Well, basically, he had chucked him in there so that the radiation would just evaporate the body, but he says, I must have knocked the thing because it didn't burn him enough.
Yeah. Oh, and one thing what I guess is important is when, and this is kind of what the episode kind of is based around almost, these next couple of lines. When Tuvok is saying, why did you do it? At first he says no reason, and Tuvok can't accept it, and then it's like he just comes up with this reason, even if it's not necessarily true. He just says, I didn't like the way he looked at me. Mm-hmm. Which, because, Tuvok wants a reason, so he tries to give him a reason.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly. Because, out of all the crew members, why did you choose this crew member?
Which, in truth, it's just because he was there and because it was convenient. And the Doctor tries to explain to Tuvok as well, but, this is in everybody. This is in all Vulcans. It's in all humans. It's normal. We all have this savage thing inside us somewhere, but he doesn't want to accept that. He wants there to be a reason.
Well, that's the thing. It's one of them things that is very true. We all have it inside us to get sadistic, evil thoughts.
Definitely.
It's just a part of who we are, and but obviously within some people within society, just as long as Suder, they act on it, and there's no real rhyme or reason other than sometimes he just goes with what his gut says.
Well, that's it. And with Suder, he, that's what he tells Tuvok, is he does it to feel. He can't sense his own emotion, so he does this to feel something. But basically, long story short, for the middle section here, Tuvok can't understand, so he thinks the best way to understand for both of them is to do a mind meld.
As you do, because that's the thing. He also then, to try and win Suder over, he's like, well, you can almost take it as therapy because you'll be able to take on some of my structured thought and be able to try and help suppress these.
That's it, yeah, because Tuvok suggests normal therapy and doing holodeck stuff.
And he's like, it doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
I've killed many holograms.
Yeah, it's not the same, I think he says. It's not the same.
Yeah.
I don't think he says rush, but something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, basically he doesn't get the same feeling from it that he does from killing a real person, because obviously as much as you may try and make believe on the holodeck, you still know it's not real.
Yeah. I don't know where to cut to now. Basically, after the meld happens, Suder feels a lot better. He's feeling a lot happier. But immediately, Tuvok's feeling a bit weird and stuff, and has a conversation with Janeway where she's suggesting for him to spend the rest of Suder's time in his quarters until they get home. And she tells Tuvok, go and have a meditation for a couple of days. And after that scene, it's a really good cut. It cuts to the mess hall where Neelix is pissing off Tuvok again.
Yeah, as per usual.
Yeah, trying to cheer him up and all that, like he is in the first scene. And he goes as far as to stick his finger in Tuvok's mouth and create a smile, which is quite funny. But yeah, Tuvok's just going, just bugger off, mate, just bugger off,
At which point,
and he's not doing it.
Yeah.
So he basically chokes him up against the wall until the point that Neelix is dead. And I know I sound horrible saying this, but I enjoyed that scene.
Well, that's the thing. It's one of those things that I know a lot of fans would have wished would have happened. Because don't get me wrong, I like Neelix, but I know that a lot of fans would have been perfectly happy for that to have happened.
There's times where I like the Neelix character, but I think most of the time I do feel like Tuvok in this episode where you're just like, oh, fuck off, Neelix.
Take your optimism, take your happiness, and shove it up your arse.
Yeah. But anyway, it turns out, like, if it was any other show, it'd turn out to be a dream. But because we're watching Star Trek, it's a holodeck simulation.
Yeah.
Much like I said before, Suder's feeling great now, Meld, but Tuvok just descends into disturbed darkness, or whatever you want to say.
Well, that's the thing. He ends up basically locking himself in his quarters.
Oh, there's something what makes me laugh in that scene. Oh, what is it? Oh, I thought I'd written it down. Oh, that's it. I don't know if I've written it down right, but Janeway comes in to try and console him and try and snap him out of it, and Tuvok says something along the lines of like, "I know martial arts. I've just thought of 99 ways to kill... No, 44 ways to kill people, and I know martial arts, so get out." It just made me laugh. I know he was supposed to be scary in that scene, but I was just laughing. I know martial arts.
I've been watching the Karate Kid.
Yeah. I've watched it 44 times today.
Don't make me crane kick you.
But anyway, yeah, so, you know, they've almost reversed roles, those two. But then we cut to the Doctor, and he's made some sort of emotion suppressor, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Tuvok likes the emotion suppressor, but he starts getting leery immediately. Threatens to kill EMH, first of all. And then he starts dissing Janeway, saying, "You're weak. And I'm generally disgusted by humans." Which I think is cool. I like that scene because it's like...
Well, that's the thing, because it's probably very true.
It's a bit like getting drunk, isn't it? When you get too drunk...
And you start
being honest.
Actually telling people what you really think. Yeah.
Like, you're a good mate, but your face is fucking ugly. Something like that. But I think that was a great scene. And later on, he goes back to normal, and he's really apologetic to Janeway, which is a nice scene. Mm-hmm. But it's cool because you know he meant the stuff he said to a degree. Yeah. Because it had to come from somewhere. I was just going to say, when he had the emotion suppressor on, he was saying at first to EMH, "Leave it on. You know, I want it on for as long as possible so I can investigate what it was like to be a Vulcan hundreds or thousands of years ago," whatever it was.
Yeah. Also, I can't remember which scene it was, whether it was this one or one slightly later, that I enjoyed when he discusses, like with Janeway, "So, what are you going to do with Suder now? Because, like, are you just going to feed him, like, the entire way home? Like, let him just stay in his quarters the entire time?"
Well, there's a couple. There's the one where he's still not gone completely mental, where he's basically saying that. And then when he is mental, he says the more extreme version of that.
And he's like, "Let me kill him. I'll sort it out for you."
Yeah, he's just completely straightforward. You know, and he even says, like, what about his... what was his name?
The family of the victim.
Exactly, you know, he's got 3 sisters. You know, what would they want? They'd want him dead, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And there is, you know, his argument is sort of valid in a way. Like, I know Suder ends up helping later on, but like, this guy is a serial killer, and you know, what is he going to do to contribute to the rest of the trip if he's just sat in his room? He does sort of have a... I know it sounds horrible. Maybe people might criticise me loads for saying this stuff, but...
Would you be able to ever really fully reintegrate him into the crew? Because obviously that's the thing. As much as like you may get him therapy, you might say if Tuvok hadn't have gone psycho, even if he continued on. Because I know between here and Basics, because in Basics they show that Suder had been continuing with the therapy with Tuvok. But say if that had continued, would he have got to a point where he would have been able to really become a valid member of the crew again?
You never know. I like to believe he could have done, to be honest. I thought in this short episode, it was interesting to see how how calmly psychotic the guy was at the beginning of the episode. And then after he had the meld with Tuvok, he was like, oh, I feel really good now. I can recognise the lust for violence in me, but I can control it now the same way you do, and I'm feeling really calm. And I think he even says to Tuvok, like on a couple of occasions, like, oh, let's meld again. And Tuvok's just like, nah. I'm feeling really fucked up now. I don't really want to meld with you anymore at the moment. I think it's a really good episode. Yeah. I think it's smart writing, the way that they had those two characters almost reverse roles like that.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think so too, and I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. I thought it's very well acted. It's very entertaining.
I never said that before, but props to Tim Russ as well. Because obviously it's not easy to play a Vulcan all the time, and have to do that thing where they suppress their emotions, like as an actor as well, and then they have to be very subtle. The three main Vulcans that we see on Voyager, Enterprise and TOS, I think they do an excellent job at that. But I think it's got to be liberating for them when they do have the opportunity to let rip, like Tim Russ does in this episode, where suddenly he's got all sorts of emotion going on simultaneously, talking to Janeway and the Doctor. So yeah, well done to him as well as Brad Dourif in this episode. That's pretty much it. It's one of those episodes which just like has loads of drama and then it just fizzles out at the end, where you just presume that Suder's in his quarters forever, and for now Tuvok doesn't want anything to do with him, and that's kind of the end. And he apologises to Janeway, and that's it. So yeah, we've done it.
Yeah, I think other than Basics, I think it would have been nicer to have checked in with Suder a little bit more often. Obviously, that means getting the actor down to the sets and whatnot. But I think maybe that's just one of them things that Voyager did slightly miss out on.
I agree. He could have been Voyager's Garak or something like that, couldn't he?
Yeah, he could have been. So, but that's the thing. There are plenty of what ifs when it comes to Voyager, so we won't touch on that. But for this episode, it was a really good show. Really enjoyed it, and I think most people that have seen this episode would agree with us. And if you haven't seen this episode, then you should definitely check it out.
Definitely, I highly recommend.
So let us know what you think of. Let us know what you think of the Meld. You can write a comment in the comments section below. You can tweet us at TrekMate1701, or you can go over to our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/trek.mate.1. And please, whilst you're on the YouTube channel, if you could give us a like, favourite and subscribe, that would be a wonderful thing to do, because we do appreciate all of the support on the YouTube channel as we try to build it up into something. So thank you very much for checking it out.
Well, thanks for joining us again, guys. I've been Jude Hawkins.
I've been Wayne Emery, and that has been a TrekMate Review.